Sorry, you guys. Okay, here we go. So you should be in that yellow flip book, right? That looks like this. Today, we are going to do the first two flaps. Greatest common factor and factoring a trinomial. So we're still working with our polynomials, you guys. So let's think about what we've done before. We've subtracted, we've added, and we've multiplied. Now the next logical thing would be to divide. But instead of calling it dividing, we call it factoring, okay? So it kind of looks like we'll start here, okay? So here we go. So if you open to that first flap, it says factor out the GCF. GCF stands for the greatest common factor. So we want to figure out the biggest number and or variables that we can pull out from each term of our polynomial. So if I look here, I have a 2x and a 42y. What number can I pull out of both of those? So you're thinking, what factors of 42 are the same as the factors of 2? Well, 2 is pretty simple, right? Nothing else goes into 2 but 1. So I know I can take a 2 out of here, and 2 also comes out of 42. And then we don't have any common variables, so we can just take out a 2. So if we divide out, I'm going to put a 2 on the outside because that's what I'm taking out. And now if I divide by 2, well, 2 divided by 2, they cancel, so I'm just left with x. And now 42 divided by 2 is 21, but I'm still left with that y, so you got to put the y with it. And that should be all you can take out. So now if you look, the best part is, you guys, you can check every single one of these. So if you didn't feel confident in your answer here, you could check it. So let's check it real quick. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 21y would be 42y. Do you guys see how it worked out? So this indeed is our factored form of that polynomial. Let's try another one. So again, you're looking for the biggest number and or exponents that you can pull out from each term. So if I look here, I have a 4 and a 24. What's the biggest number I can take out of both of those? And you guys, if you don't really know, go to that factor sheet I gave you. Let me try to find it here. And look, if I look at 4, those are my options. And if I look at 24, what's the biggest number that's in both of those columns? Well, my biggest number in my 4s is just a 4. So let's see if that's in 24. It is. So that would be my greatest common factor for both of those. Okay, so use that factor chart if your math facts aren't as strong as you'd like them to be. So I know I can take out a 4. Now, do they share any variables? Well, they both have an x. So how many can I take out of both? Well, I can take 4 out of this one, but I only have 3 to give here. So the most we can take out of both would be 3. So that's what we can take out of both of them, 4x cubed. So now we just divide out and see what we get, okay? So 4 divided by 4 is a 1, and then x to the 4th over x to the 3rd, we just subtract away, so we just have 1x left. Plus 24 divided by 4 is 8, and then we wouldn't have any x's left because they cancel out. So there we go, folks. And I'm also wrong. Yikes. Bear with me. It's Monday. 24 divided by 4 is 6, not 8. There we go. That should be better. If you caught that, good job. And if you didn't, welcome to my life today. Perfect. Okay, let's try another one. Again, you're taking out the biggest number and the most variables, or the biggest variables you can take on both. So again, you're looking at 8 and 6. If you're not sure, go to that factor chart. Check out the 8 and 6 column. What numbers in both? Here's my 6's. There's my 8's. The biggest number that they have in common would be 2. So we can pull a 2 out of both of them. So I'm going to take out a 2. Can I take an A out of both? Yep. How many? Just 1. And I can also take a B out of both. So we're going to divide by 2AB. So I'm going to put 2AB on the outside. 8 divided by 2 is 4. I'll have 1 A left over, but no B's. Negative 6 divided by 2 is 3. No A's left over, but 1 B. And again, you guys, if you just, let's check real quick on this one. We can distribute to see if we get the same thing. 2 times 4 is 8. A times A is A squared. Tack on the B. Negative 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. B times B is B squared. Does this match this? Yep, it sure does. Okay, you guys try this last one. What's the biggest number and exponent that you can take out of both of these terms? Okay, I hope you tried it. I hope you found that you can take a 4xy out of both. 4xy out of both. So to put that number out in front of our parentheses, 20 divided by 4 is 5. I'll have one x and y left over. Negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1, and I won't have any x's or y's left. So there we go. Don't go ahead of me too fast here. Make sure you write down the summary. So your summary, when you take a greatest common factor out, is divide from the GCF from each term, and then place that number on the outside, like here, of your parentheses. So again, we just divided the GCF out. Okay, you guys, I'm really excited about this. I love to factor. Factoring is great. It's a puzzle. It's kind of like, Wordle, where you have to find the right letter in the right spot of a word, right? That's kind of, just think of it like that. It's just a big puzzle that you have to put the numbers in the right place. So we should be on the flap that says factoring trinomials, and this is number 5. So we're used to seeing two binomials like this, and then we multiply, if it was like x plus 7, x plus 9. This is what we're used to seeing up until today, and you guys know you would multiply like that and get an answer like this after you combine like terms. Well, now we're gonna take a trinomial and put the parentheses back in. So I'm gonna start with my parentheses. I know I'm gonna have two binomials, okay? And now we gotta think, we kind of have to like backwards FOIL. We gotta think in our brains, what times what's gonna give me an x squared? Well, guys, the only way to get that is an x times an x. That's the only way you're gonna get an x squared. So that's usually almost always what you're gonna put here and here, okay? Very straightforward. And now we have a trick. Now the trick is you have to think of numbers that multiply to this last term, but add or subtract to the middle. So what you want to do is go to your factor chart, find 18, right here, folks, and think of these numbers, okay? That's what you want to think of. Those are your factors of 18. So if I come back here, I cheated and I took a screenshot so we could see it together. Now I'm looking, you guys. I'm looking here and I'm thinking out of these options, which one would have a sum or subtraction of 11? So if I take 18 and 1, I'm going to get 19. Now 2 and 9, that's 11. You guys see how we got 11 there? And 3 plus 6 is 9. So do you guys see how we got 11 and that's what we wanted? So I know this is the combination I want, 2 and 9. So I'm going to put plus 2 plus 9. Now again, check these first ones out to see if you did it right. X times x, x squared. X times 9, 9x. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 9, 18. Combine our like terms there and we get that at 11x. You guys see that? See how we got what we started with? That's factoring. So again, the trick before we move on is you take the factors of the last number, like in this case 18, and figure which ones add or subtract to the middle term. Okay? Let's try another one. So we got to factor m squared plus 9m plus 14. So again, start with your two sets of parentheses. The only way to get to an m squared is an m and an m. Now we're multiplying to a positive 14. So we look at our factors of 14 on our sheet. Which ones would add or subtract 9? Well, this one's pretty obvious and there's only two options. Has to be that one, right? 7 plus 2 gives me 9. Woo! And again, you can check. 7m 2n. 7 plus 2 gives me 9. Beautiful. Got it. That's what we wanted. I also forgot to mention on the last one, the order of where you put the 7 and 2 doesn't matter. This is also a good answer. You could have flipped the order around. This is also good. Okay, let's try another one. Again, put those parentheses back in, folks. A y and a y. Now we got to look at our sheet. And I picked the wrong number. We need 8. So I'll list these off real quick. So 8, we can either have 1 and 8 or 2 and 4. That's the only way to get to 8. So now we look here. The only one that would add or subtract to 6 would be 2 and 4. But now what's tricky, you guys, is do you guys see how we have a minus sign and a plus? So it's not always going to be plus plus in the middle. You could also have, do you guys see how you could take a minus and still multiply to a positive 8? So let's check to see if we did this one right. Y times y, y squared. Y times negative 4, negative 4y. 2 times y, negative 2y. Negative 2 times negative 4, positive 8. So if we combine our like terms, we're going to get y squared minus 6y plus 8. These indeed do match. So if you ever have a minus plus in your trinomial, you're going to have a minus minus in your binomials. So take note of that, okay? All right, let's do another one. Number 8. Again, put our parentheses back in. We are factoring. The only way to get to a w squared is w and w. Now, the only way to multiply to a negative number, you guys, is a positive and a negative. So I know one's going to be plus and one's going to be minus. So now, since I know I'm going to have a plus and a minus, I know I'm going to end up subtracting my two terms. So out of our options, which ones would subtract to a 2? 3 and 5, right? But since I want it to be a positive 2, which one has to go with the positive in our parentheses? You're right, it has to be 5, right? Because 5 minus 3 is a positive 2. If it was the other way around, if you made it a positive 3, you would get a negative 2. So again, you can double check. 5w, negative 3w, add those two together, we get that positive 2. Perfect. Okay, and here, you guys can put in your summary. So find the two numbers that multiply to C, which is that last value, and subtract or add to the B, the middle value. And most importantly, you can always check your work by foiling. On the very back of your flip book, why don't you guys do a few of these examples real quick? And then I'll go over, but I just want to make sure we're on the same page, okay? So let's do these two. Take out the greatest common factor. So pause the video, do these on the back of your flip book, and try them out. I'm going to do them right now too. Okay, so I hope you paused the video. Now you can check your work with me. The biggest number we can take out of both of those is a 9. And there's no variable that they both share, so this would just be 9. 9 divided by 9 is a 1, so just an x is left, plus 36 divided by 9 is 4. That's all you can do on that one, kids. This one here, the biggest number we can take out is a 3. And they both have an n, but how many can we take out of both? Take out 3 of them. So if I put that on the outside, 6 divided by 3 is 2. I won't have any n's left because those will cancel out. Negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. N to the 5th divided by n cubed would be n squared. There you go. Or you could have wrote that one like this, you guys. You don't need to have that imaginary 1 there. Could have been like that as well. Okay, now let's try two factoring ones. Those are kind of all the same. Shoot. Let's do these two. Let's do these first two ones. Okay, the n squared and the b squared. Try those two. Okay, I hope you paused your video. So On this first one, I'm thinking what multiplies to 12? Our options are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. And we're looking for ones that would have a combination of 6 or 4 when added or subtracted together. And I know that's this one here. So I'm going to have n. I know I want a negative number, and the only way to get to a negative number is a positive and a negative. Which one has to be positive and negative between the 6 and the 2? I know my 6 has to be positive, minus 2. Check real quick. 6n, negative 2n. 6 minus 2 gives me 4n. Check. Good deal. Now this last one, 64. We have a lot of options here. It could be 1 and 64, 2 and 32, 3 doesn't go in there, 4 goes in there 16 times, 5 doesn't, 6 doesn't, 7 doesn't, but 8 goes in there 8 times. So we have 4 options. Out of these 4 options, which one would combine to 16? Our only option, you guys, would be 8 and 8. So we're going to have B. They're both positive, so plus B plus. And that way it doesn't really matter. We put them 8 goes here, 8 goes here. Again, you can check 8B. 8B gives us a total of 16B. So it works out. Okay, folks, good job. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.